All right. Today we're talking about being crowned.
That's a massive Bible.
This is not a Bible. You can put a Bible in here. But we know that Christ is the true king. He's the true king. But when someone does get crowned, we put the crown upon their head. But the Bible also talks about that what we do in this life for God and His kingdom, Jesus tells us that when we stand before God and we get to heaven, guess what? God will reward us for those things we do for Him in His kingdom. However, there's a condition upon that. Jesus tells us that if we do things for God and His kingdom just so it makes us look good and we do it for ourselves, guess what? Jesus says we have our reward here, and that's so it makes us look good. And we stand before God, guess what happens? We don't get rewarded for it because we didn't do it for the right reasons. Does that make sense?
Is that a book?
Do what?
Is that a massive book?
This is not a book, no. So, what we're going to do is, I've got a box here, and I've got some little tiny crowns in here, guys. They are very, very, very tiny crowns. And as you can see, these are little baby crowns. They're not very big.
They're for baby dolls.
They are for, but they are going to represent when we do something for God in this life, but we do it for the wrong reason. So let's just say Layla, she hears that her friend is hungry. So what does she do? She goes and she buys her friend something to eat. But then guess what she does after she buys her friend something to eat? She goes and she tells everyone, hey guys, y'all aren't going to believe what I did for my friend. She brags about it to everybody. And she tells everyone she can tell because it makes her look good. So when she stands before God, what do you think is going to happen? You think God's going to reward her for what she did?
No.
No. Why? Why won't God reward her for what she did?
Because I bragged about it.
She bragged about it. What about Elijah? Elijah hears that there's a friend that his bike is messed up. He's like, man, I really, really love this bike. And what does Elijah do? He goes and he helps them fix that bike. That was really nice. Is that the right thing to do? Yeah. But then guess what? He goes
and
he brags about it to everybody. Man, this friend of mine can't even keep a bike together. He breaks it every time he rides it, but thankfully he's got a good friend like me that I can help him. When he stands before God, all those good things he did for his friend, you think God's going to reward him? Or is he going to say, Elijah, you had your reward because you bragged about it to everybody? Does that make sense? He didn't do it for the right reasons. How about this? Pastor Derek has a lesson he's working on. And he hit a roadblock. He's like, man, I really need help with this lesson we're doing for children's church. So he calls Pastor Paul. And Pastor Paul helps him with the lesson. And then Pastor Paul wouldn't really do this. But Pastor Paul goes and he tells everybody, guys, Derek was having trouble with this lesson. And thankfully someone smart like me helped him with the lesson. You think that's the right thing to do?
No.
Do you think God's going to reward him when he stands before him the way he bragged about it?
No.
Probably not. I wouldn't think so. So all these crowns, all these good things we do, we're hoping when we get to God. And here's all the crowns in the box. Y'all see the crowns?
No.
So when we get to heaven, we're like, you don't see the crowns in there? So we got some crowns in here.
Yes.
And these are all the good things we did. All the good things we did. And so then we die, we stand before God, and we say, God, I did so many good things for you. I can't wait to see the rewards I got for all the good things I did. I can't wait. I'm ready, God. I'm ready to be rewarded. What do you think is going to happen?
You're going to get air.
What's going to happen?
They're going to be gone.
God's like, you had your reward. Every time you bragged on yourself and you made yourself look good, that was your reward. That was what you did. But here's the good thing, guys. What if Layla has a friend that's hungry? And she goes, she's like, I really, really know you're hungry. So I spent the only $5. This is a little baby crown. Because it's only a little dollar menu at McDonald's. So she goes and she says, I'm going to buy you something off the dollar menu. And she doesn't tell anybody about it. You think God's going to... There we go. You think that's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And then Elijah's friend, his bike messed up. And Elijah helps him fix the bike. And do you think Elijah goes and brags to people about it? No. He said, I'm not going to tell anybody that I fixed your bike. We're just going to keep it between us because I don't think it's your fault the bike broke. I think you just popped the wheelie and landed on it too hard and the wheel broke off. But we're not going to tell anybody. He does it for the right reasons. The same thing with Derek. When he needs help with a lesson or something, Pastor Paul helps him. You think Pastor Paul should tell people Pastor Derek always needs help with every lesson? He tells everybody he helps them with every lesson? Probably not. He does it for the right reason. What happens? What happens when he does it?
He doesn't tell.
He doesn't tell anybody. And so we do all the... That should be enough. So what happens when we stand before God and we did things for the right reason?
We get awards.
Now, did I put all those crowns in the box that time?
No.
No, because we did it in secret. We did it in secret. So what happens when we stand before God?
We get
God's like, God, I didn't do any of that stuff for people to see. I did it for the right reason. I did it so you would be glorified. I did it so you would look good, not for me. So what's going to happen when we stand before God?
It's going to come back.
We're going to be rewarded when we get to heaven with crowns. And all those things, the Bible says that what we do in secret for God, guess what Jesus says will happen? We'll be rewarded openly. So when we stand before God, all the things we did for the right reasons, so God is glorified and not ourselves, guess what the Bible says? Those are the things we'll be rewarded for. Those are the things God will give us award and recognize. Not the things we do for ourselves to make ourselves look good, but the things we do to make Christ look good. Does that make sense? What you do in secret, that means what you do for the right reason and not so people can see and make yourself look good, God will reward you openly. That means God will recognize those things you do for Him when no one else knows about it. Does it feel good when people see what we do? It makes us look good. It does feels good, but is that the right reason for what we do? Well, some people don't feel embarrassed for it. But when we do things for God, it's not about us, it's about Him.
God.
Everything Jesus did on this earth, who do you think He did it for?
Us.
He did it for us, but who was He trying to obey and glorify? The Father in heaven. He said, everything I do it to give God glory. And we should do the same thing. So what we do in secret, God will reward us openly. Good? Make sense?
Give Pastor Kid a hand. Fantastic Mr. Horton a hand.